Morning.
You get Beaver in the back. What's up? What's up?
What's happening?
How you doing, buddy?
Not too bad. How are you?
Good. So what's your name besides DNA Outdoors? All I see from people is their like screen names, and I never know who the hell they really
AJ.
are.
AJ.
AJ.
Yep.
Okay, AJ. Very good to meet you.
You too, buddy. You too. And Steve, right?
Yes, sir. Yep.
Nice.
Or Captain Potter. Everybody calls me Captain Potter.
All right.
So welcome to our podcast. I was doing this. I did it like 6 weeks in a row or something, and then we had hurricanes and all that crap going on. So we took about a month off. I was planning to only take a week or two off, but it got a little crazy around here. How were the hurricanes for you guys? Do you guys have damage over there? You still have flooding?
We got super lucky. Our house did really good. It's a newer cookie cutter house, which I absolutely hate, but a lot of the communities around us just flooded.
Gotcha.
It's.
So are you? What waterway are you on over there?
The intercoastal.
Okay.
This is just a pond behind me, but the intercoastal's, as the crow flies, probably half a mile away.
Gotcha. Okay, so you guys are close to the water. I'm about the same. I'm like maybe a quarter mile from the intercoastal, and
yeah, maybe like 3 miles from the beach.
Yeah, we're about a mile from the beach, just across the intercoastal. It's not real wide where we're at, so.
Yeah. How about you? I saw you guys had a little bit of a mess over there.
Oh yeah, we got a mess. We got a tree down and debris everywhere and all that stuff. It's so funny because you drive around here, like this neighborhood where the Outpost is at. I drive around here and it looks like nothing happened here. Like all the yards are perfect again. Everything's like back to normal. And then you go near the water here and it looks like, you know, an atomic bomb went off and there's just debris everywhere. And
right.
like two, you know, within a quarter mile, you wouldn't even know it happened now. So it's a little weird how that works out.
My dog barking at the ducks. Yeah, it's crazy. Like, I think it was Nicole. Was it Nicole and Ian? We had the two back to back here, and man, same thing. Like they just like wreaked havoc over here. Like the community that we were living in while the house was being built, there was people out on skiffs like fly fishing in the road.
Gotcha. Oh yeah, we had mullet jumping in front of our house during Helene.
Wow.
So there was water in the road, and they were just. You know, I saw 2 or 3 of them jump. It's like the middle of the night. So I'm sure if the mullet are there, all the other things are swimming around too, you know?
Yeah. And I've grown up here. I'm 40. I've been in Florida my whole life. And like, it just seems like these last couple of years, the hurricanes are different.
Yeah.
Well, like they're starting over by you guys, coming across the state and like just demolishing everything in its path.
Yeah, that's, I mean, I've been here for 32 years, and I've seen some big hurricanes. We've really never been impacted as badly here as this year.
Right.
You know, we've been very fortunate, I guess. But even this year, it could have been a lot worse. Like, neither of those hurricanes directly hit Pinellas County. If they had, it would have been a whole different story here. It would have been, if you look at, like, videos of down south, like Minnesota Key and Longboat Key and all those areas really got devastated. They had a lot of flooding. They had, you know, over 100-mile-an-hour winds for hours and hours. Right. And if we had that here, it'd be a totally different story here. You know, and it was bad enough as it is. I can't imagine, you know, a 10-foot storm surge here in Clearwater would pretty devastate.
Yeah, it was over here. I mean, they were talking about it being unsurvivable over in the Tampa area. Like,
well, that's what they say every single time. I mean, you know that. Being a Floridian or being here, like every single hurricane. And I feel like they have to do that to get people to pay attention.
And I think, honestly, that's part of the problem is they're, like, desensitizing us to it. You know, for every year, especially since Katrina, they're like, oh, the next hurricane is going to be the worst one ever.
I know.
This year is going to be the worst season ever, and nothing ever happens. And then now, like, when something legit happens, it's kind of like the boy who cried wolf. You're just kind of sitting back like, it's going to be nothing, going to be nothing.
Well, they say it every time. They say, you know, if you're in a low-lying area, you're going to die. I mean, the mayor of Tampa said to write your name on your body if you're staying in this area. And I'm like, wow, what planet are you from?
Right.
Like, I've been staying here. I've been in this area for a dozen hurricanes. I mean, You know, unless my house is underwater, in which case I have a plan to get away from that. But
Right.
you know, it's definitely a dangerous situation. There's no doubt, but it's survivable. It's not like everybody that stays here is going to die.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like the ones that aren't are pretty extreme in places that don't normally have them. You know, like up in the Carolinas, you know, like the valleys and the mountains flooded. That's unsurvivable for them. Like they got.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, if you're in the path of that,
Right.
you know, and I would, if you live on the beach here or you live near the water, it's a good idea to leave for sure.
Mm-hmm.
You're definitely taking your, you know, risking your life staying there. But, you know, if you're in a higher elevation where you're not going to flood and you're not worried about your roof ripping off, so you got a block house, even if the roof rips off, you know, you're still in your block.
Right.
And you're probably not going to die from that.
It's gonna get wet.
Yeah, you're going to get wet. So, you know, they definitely, I mean, it's like any media source. I feel like they, you know, they're looking for views, basically. Yeah. They want to, you know, make it look like it's going to be like this huge end of the freaking world scenario, but
right.
Fear-mongering, yeah, they're just fear-mongering. And it works. I mean, it gets people all riled up and freaked out and all that kind of stuff. But,
especially the people that haven't experienced one yet.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I mean, if you're new to Florida and you aren't used to that shit, go somewhere else.
Right.
You know, like, it ain't worth it.
What I'm hoping this does, actually, is it keeps people from moving to Florida, and then it becomes affordable again to live here. You know?
Yeah, I very seriously doubt that's ever happening again. I think it's too late for that, brother. I think it's...
Florida's over as we know it, man.
Yeah, those years are gone. When I first moved here, it was a way different place than it is now.
Yeah.
So tell us what you do. So you're a alligator, a nuisance alligator trapper. So you work with FWC. They call you when there's a call for a nuisance alligator, and you go.
So I'm contracted through them. I have a designated area. My area is up in St. Johns County, so just like the southern part of St. Augustine.
Sure.
And then I help out in Flagler, Volusia, and Putnam County. And so anytime somebody has an actual nuisance alligator, which half the time it's really not, but you know, the people are the nuisance.
Oh yeah.
They'll send me a permit. Excuse me, and then I have like 45 days to go catch it.
Okay. So anytime someone calls, basically it's deemed a nuisance alligator.
Yeah, it's pretty much like, you know, they show up in these neighborhoods, like in this pond behind me. Somebody from New York is like, hey, there's an alligator here. It's trying to kill me. It wants to eat me and my dog, and it's stalking me. And it's like,
right, it looked at me.
Yeah, which, I mean, I don't mind because I love catching them. I'll catch them. So,
I mean, I don't usually get to go hunt for them except for like every couple of years if I draw a tag, you know? Yeah. And I've tried to get, I looked into getting like a nuisance alligator trapping license before.
Yeah, so you can get like an agent license and help a trapper.
Yeah.
Or you have to like wait for it to come available. It's kind of like a job, and you know they have so many trappers per area. Like,
it seems pretty difficult to get, honestly.
Yeah, once somebody gets it, they don't want to get rid of it.
Yeah, I don't blame them. I wouldn't either.
Yeah, I want to keep it my whole life. You know, once you catch an alligator, it's like, oh, I can do this year round. That's awesome. Plus, you know, it's a little different. I get to catch them live. So
absolutely.
Like doing the state hunt's fun. I've done the state hunt for years and years and caught some big gators, but there's nothing like jumping on a pissed off alligator's back.
Oh yeah. I've had I've been fortunate enough to do that a couple of times.
Come on over here.
The past like 3 years, I didn't draw a tag, so I'm pumped about that.
Yeah, come over here. We'll go catch some gators. Man.
I'd love to. That'd be awesome.
Like the weather cooling off a little bit. I'm hoping it starts picking up now.
What do you do with the alligators after you trap them? Do you sell them to somebody? They are processed, or you relocate them?
The guy that I help out in Volusia and Flagler, he's a processor. So the gators that I catch for him that are over 6 foot, he keeps. Anything under 4 feet, we either don't catch or we get to relocate.
Gotcha.
so they don't really see them as being dangerous.
Yeah.
And then the 4 to 6 footers I do sell a lot of them to people that'll like cook them, they'll smoke them.
Yeah.
Smoked a couple gators. Actually, like last year, I took Vanilla Ice out gator trapping, and then
that's cool.
Went to his house a few weeks ago and smoked a gator. It was delicious.
Yeah, that's awesome. Very cool.
And the bigger ones that I catch up in St. John's, I sell to farms, and a lot of those farms though they still turn around and sell hunts.
Right.
A lot of them still end up euthanized, and then they nothing gets wasted though. You know, like if you go to a restaurant here in Florida anywhere and you order alligator, odds are it's a nuisance alligator.
Right.
And if you do it in Volusia, Flagler, or St. Johns County, I'd probably caught it.
Gotcha. That's cool. Yeah, that's awesome. So how did you get into that? You just applied for it and...
Yeah, so, you know, like I said, I've grown up here in Florida. I've always been around alligators, did the state hunt for years and years. And then another guy at work is a gator trapper, and he sent me a text. He was like, hey, you know, the south end of the county is about to come open. That guy that's doing it now, he's quitting due to some family reasons.
Gotcha.
So I applied for it. They called me down there. I had just like a normal interview, like a normal job interview. And
sure.
They were like, all right, when do you want to start? I was like, yesterday.
Cool. Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, it's fun. It's time consuming, you know. They're not all big 10, 11, 12 footers. Actually, as we're talking, I just got a new permit. They're not all big 10, 11, 12 footers. You know, I have to catch a bunch of 4, 5, 6, 7 footers.
Oh, yeah.
Big ones, but I mean, those are still fun, too.
They have teeth just like the big ones.
What's that?
They have teeth just like the big ones.
Oh, yeah, and they're faster. They're like 6, 7 foot. To me, is like the most dangerous size because they're still small enough to be like fast and agile, but they're big enough to hurt you. You know?
Oh yeah. You don't want one of those clamping down on you. It's not going to be good.
Yeah. No, yeah, definitely not. No,
I watched this video when I was a kid. I'm sure everybody that's around my age or something had seen these videos. They're like the Faces of Death videos.
Right.
Oh, there's one where there's like, I think it's probably an FWC officer or something. I don't know. It's a very long time ago. But he was down in Miami and he got this thing and he was like trying to catch it and it got his arm in its mouth and like started rolling and pretty much pulled his arm right off.
Yeah. Harley, they do taste similar to chicken and pork is what I tell people. They're kind of like a mix. Yeah, Faces of Death, man. You used to have to go to like Blockbuster or movie gallery to rent.
Blockbuster, that's right.
Yeah, so I was maybe 2 years ago trying to catch a gator, and I saw a guy kind of watching, like standing out in this cul-de-sac, and I noticed, like his arm was missing, like from just above the elbow down. And at the end, when I was all said and done, I was talking to him. He was like, "Yeah, you know, used to love doing this." He was like, "That's how I lost my arm." I was like, "Really?" He said, "Yeah, I used to work at the alligator farm up in St. Augustine."
Oh, yeah.
So I was cleaning out one of the pools for the Cuban crocodiles. It grabbed a hold of him, started death rolling, and just popped his arm right off.
Crazy. Yeah, it's amazing how the grip those things have once they lock down on you. If you have their mouth shut, you can hold it shut.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah.
But you just don't want to get anything in there when they're chomping down because you ain't getting it open.
Yeah, and even after you kill them, even if one's dead, like it's not going to let go until you're able to like cut those down.
Yeah, that's crazy.
They clamp down and that's it.
Yeah, that's crazy. So have you ever seen a crocodile that far north? Or? No,
not this far north. A little south of me. So I trap up in St. Augustine, but I live in New Smyrna. So a little south, I want to say like Melbourne, they've had a crocodile showing up. And they've even caught it, brought it back down to the Everglades, and they put a satellite tracker on it. And they've done it like 2 or 3 times now, and it keeps coming back.
Oh, weird.
That's like hundreds of miles, you know, it's crazy.
Oh, yeah. Well, they've seen them here. I've personally never seen one here, but I've seen videos of them in Tampa Bay.
Right.
I mean, that's the same kind of deal. We're pretty much just west of you guys, you know?
Yeah, it's crazy.
That's a couple 100 miles from where they're normally at down there in the Keys or, you know, the
like
southern Everglades.
South Everglades.
Yeah. I've seen some big ones down there, though. I've seen over 10-foot crocodiles down there. And I'm like, holy crap, that thing's a monster.
We go
and they
down
look meaner than an alligator.
And I've still yet to see a crocodile in the wild. And like, say, take my wife, for instance, before she met me, she's never seen an alligator in the wild.
Right.
Until she met me, and now all I do is every time I'm driving by a body of water, I'm looking for alligators. She's the same. She's like, oh, there's one, there's one, there's one. And now she sees them everywhere because she's used to me looking for them.
Spotting them. So I used to have a pet alligator. I'd take my kids to school every morning, and it wasn't really a pet, but we saw it every morning.
Right.
Its name was Ferdinando.
Nice.
And a buddy of mine actually trapped Ferdinando. It's in a local pond here in Pinellas County. But Ferdinando, there were some homeless people that lived in this park, right? And there's a Frisbee golf course at the park. So the same guy, he goes in the lake to try to he's like collecting those discs, the Frisbee discs, and he sells them.
Right.
So he got bit. My cousin is the EMT that took care of him after he got bit, right? The thing bit him on the head. It had his head in his mouth. He survived that, right? And they never caught the alligator.
Oh, man.
Which is weird, right? You think they would, but this particular alligator must have gone somewhere else in the lake. They couldn't find it.
Right.
It's actually a lake that's connected through a bunch of canals and a creek and all that sort of stuff. So I could see not being able to find the thing if it went, a mile away or something. So this alligator, so about a year later, right, the same guy goes back in the lake, the same alligator grabs his arm.
Jeez.
And you know what happens when they get a hold of your arm.
Yeah.
It's not good.
They got to get rid of that one.
Well, they did. They finally caught it. So Ferdinando was gone. I used to see him every single morning, but
can I pet that dog? Yeah.
Yeah. But it's like, you would think if you got bit once and you almost died from this alligator, you would never go back in that water again. But I guess
there's that guy who was diving down looking for megalodon a couple years ago over by you guys, a little south of you guys somewhere. I think
Mayaca or something.
Yeah, like around Mayaca, and he got hit in the head. But he's back out there.
Oh, I remember that. Yeah, that's insane.
Yeah, I think he's on TikTok somewhere.
Yeah, maybe I've seen him before. I think.
Yeah, it's crazy.
So that same creek system. It's what the heck is the name of that creek? It's the creek that goes by my house. I think it's like Stevenson's Creek or something like that, or McKay Creek.
Right.
I think it's McKay Creek. So that same creek. So last year, an alligator killed someone else, a different alligator, but this alligator was 13 feet long.
Oh, yes, I saw that.
Remember that?
Posted that. Yeah.
That's like half a mile from my house.
Really? Yeah. They said that thing was huge, and they saw.
I mean, that's like a 100-year-old alligator, right? Like, how old would a 13-foot alligator be?
So, again, like this is kind of crazy. If you go up to I've been to St. Augustine Alligator Farm a million times, but
I've been there a couple times myself.
They have that big pit up front that's got like some of the massive gators in it. They're like so big they can hardly move.
Right.
So if what the curators say, anyways, the biggest gator in there is actually the youngest. So a lot of it, like they say, like up to 4, 5, 6 foot, they grow about a foot a year. And then after that, like genetics and like say what they're eating plays a lot into it.
Right.
Like people, if Shaq has a baby, it's going to be 6 feet tall. If I have a baby, it's going to be 6 foot as well.
Right.
But it's so a lot plays into it. 13 foot. I mean, genetics or not, that's got to be at least, I would think, 70, 80 years old.
That's insane. Like I when I think about something like that, an 80-year-old alligator, you wonder how far that thing has traveled in its life.
Right.
If it stayed in the same little creek system, or if it could have came from anywhere. That's in 80 years, that thing could have traveled all over the state.
Right. Palaca, So, guy that used to be a friend of mine, he caught a gator in Palaca last year, I think it was. And for some reason, he didn't get it officially measured, but he said it was like 14 foot and a quarter inch, which that would have been like, I think, top 3 in the state, like state record length. I want to say the state record's like, I want to say it's like 14.3 or something like that.
That's huge.
Lured in charters, man. I was looking to get some gator skin boots made out of some hides I have, and this is an alligator skin hat, pretty sweet. But man, I could buy them cheaper than I can get them made. It's crazy.
I bet.
I sent this guy an email who does custom gator boots, and he sent me an email back saying they start at like 18 or 1900 bucks. I was like,
holy cow!
I'm all right.
Yeah, that's a little steep for some boots.
Yeah, especially it would have been with my hides. Like I would have sent
right, exactly.
So it's like,
maybe you can trade in some like alligators for boots.
Yeah.
You know.
Yep.
That'd be kind of cool. So, what's the biggest one you've ever caught?
12 and a half.
12 and a half. That's a huge alligator.
Yeah, he was huge. And he was
How much would something like that weigh? Do you have to like use an unloader or something to pick that up?
So it took 4 grown-ass men and F-350 to pull him out of the pond, and then
Gotcha.
We struggled with him.
So is that what you do? You hook them up and then you just pull them out, something like that? Use your truck and pull them out of the pond? And
something that big, yeah.
Yeah.
Anything else, usually, like, I can catch, like, up to, like, around 10 foot by myself. And then after that, it's just, like, it's just too much weight to move around, you know?
Yeah, oh, yeah. Those things are massive.
Yeah, because even a 10-footer, you know, can be, like, 300 pounds or so.
Yeah. That's like wrestling a grown man or 2 grown men.
yeah, it's huge. It's humongous. I caught one a couple years ago on shift, actually. Like, I work for the fire department full time.
Okay.
And they called me for like an emergency gator. They had one at somebody's front door, and they told me it was a 5-footer. So I got there, and it ended up being a 10-footer.
Gotcha.
And he started death rolling like crazy, rolling. I thought I had him tired down. I went to jump on his back to tape him up, and he had one more roll left in him. And I was like, "Oh man, this is it."
Did he throw you?
No, I held on. Thank God. I held on. But just so fast through my head, I was like, all right, my career is over, and this is the last alligator I'm ever catching.
That could be like a Florida rodeo event.
Yeah.
Alligator riding.
Up here now. Death row an alligator. Yep.
I've probably caught half a dozen of them. Mm-hmm. I usually go down to the STAs. That's where I try to get my tags.
Right.
Because it's easy down there. I can just drive around in my truck and spotlight them, and I don't have to have a boat or anything like that to do it. I can just do it from land. Yeah,
now they changed the hours, too, where you can hunt 24 hours around.
They did. I like that.
5 p.m. to 10 a.m. So
I know, I hated that.
Yeah, like gator hunting at night is such a pain in the ass because you shine an alligator's eyes, and unless you can see both of them, which you hardly ever can, they're always kind of got one eye on them. But unless you can see both gators, a 2-footer's eye looks just like a 10-footer's eye.
I know, you can't tell what size they are unless you can see them both and like kind of judge the distance between the eyeballs.
Yeah, yep.
Yeah,
it's pretty crazy. During the hurricane, I had to work, and we had some pretty big ones. They were like swimming in people's front yards.
Oh, I bet.
Yeah,
I bet. I mean,
river runs through up here, and a couple of creeks that come off of it, and there were some swimming right.
I've seen them in the creek by my house before. So, like when our neighborhood flooded during Helene, it could have very well been possible for an alligator to be swimming around. I didn't see any, but
right.
You know, there aren't any fences. As soon as there's water there, it's their domain, you know? Yeah,
and they're everywhere. You know, like a lot of people don't realize it because they don't spot them. They don't see them because alligators, for the most part, they're not trying to be seen. They're not.
Oh, yeah, they don't want to be seen.
Yeah, they're doing everything they can to evade us and stay away from us until we start feeding them. And then they want to, you know, associate people with food. But
until you're fishing.
But, or fishing.
Or throwing a topwater lure. They'll follow those things around.
Oh, they love them. They love them.
Or a bobber. I've had them I've been bluegill fishing before, and, you know, those little, you know, the little just hatched alligators are like a foot or two long. Those things are such a pain every time. Every time I'm bobber fishing that time of year,
right?
They just
they come out after. Something about the floating white. Like a lot of people feed them marshmallows.
Yeah, oh yeah.
I caught one a couple weeks ago. He wasn't huge. He was like 7.5 foot, but people were feeding him.
Uh-huh.
But for some reason, he was just staying like out of my reach enough to where I was having a hard time trying to catch him. And I didn't have anything else, but I have, like a white docking buoy.
Yeah.
In the back of my truck that I have like a harpoon tip for a harpoon attached to it. So anyway, I was throwing that thing out into the water and pulling it back, and that's what got him. Like
just follow that in. He's like, oh, it's a giant marshmallow.
yeah, that's exactly. He thought it was a Stay Puft Marshmallow Man.
That's hilarious.
He thought he was getting lucky.
So what's the craziest alligator trapping story that you have? Like, have you had one like go after? Have you ever had one try to like come out of the water and get you when you're trying to get them?
Not too often, like it's always once they realize. So hang on, sorry, I'm gonna let my dog out.
That's okay.
On at the door. Come on. Once like once you cook them, they're kind of flight mode, and then once you kind of get them up to the bank, they feel like they need to kind of stand their ground.
Yeah.
And start fighting.
Oh yeah.
But still, like I have a pretty good way of like, for the most part, kind of handling them to where I use like I'll get them up with rod and reel, and then I'll throw a hand line hook on them and drag them up onto the bank, and then after that, I'll for the most part use like a dog catcher's catch pole. Right, or try to get it around the mouth. Stainless steel. It's like 5 foot, so I can kind of control their head and keep them where I need them to be. Yeah. And it's always like after the fact, so I have like this big culvert tube that I keep in the back of my truck to transport them. And a couple weeks ago, I was selling an alligator to somebody who was like 7.5 foot, and he came untaped. So I was just going to grab his jaws and tape him up real fast. And that was like the closest I've ever actually came to getting bit, because 99 other times I've done that, and the alligator just let me tape him up. Yeah. That time he got pissed off and went to thrashing, opened his mouth, and like his mouth hit the side of my hand here. Oh, damn. And I don't know why he didn't clamp. Like he didn't close. He kept his mouth open. Thank God. Yeah, that's scary. He would have clamped like all that, and I would have at least lost like half of that hand. Ugh. If not the whole thing. So he would have went to death rolling in there, but yeah, that's brutal. So how often do people have alligators like in their swimming pools or in their garage, or have you ever had one go in someone's house? Like I did, yeah. So a couple years ago, 2 years ago now, I got a call at like 11 o'clock at night. Somebody had a gator in their living room. He's like, all of a sudden my dog started barking. I walked out there and there was an alligator. Did it knock on the door and they let it in? So he like climbed up the door, and the handles with the little thumb latch, I guess. Yeah. He hit that thumb latch and it pushed the door open, and he just went right in. Yep. Hey, can you imagine waking up in the morning and there's like an 8-foot alligator hanging out in the hallway? Yeah. Yeah, you go sit down and have a cup of coffee. And like, oh yeah. I'd keep it. Yeah, absolutely. I'm trying to talk my wife into letting me have one now. Maybe that'd be my new pet. It stays a little smaller, If you put a muzzle on it, it can't get you. Exactly. That'd be some shit if you were walking your pet alligator around the neighborhood. Oh yeah, bring him over to the neighborhood pool. I don't think that'd go over too hot. Yeah, are you allowed to own an alligator in Florida? Do you have to have you probably have to have some crazy permitting to do that, huh? Yeah, I think it's called like a Class 2 license, and you got to have, I think, 1,000 hours of logged experience with them. And I think as a trapper, I'm kind of allowed to get one. Right. But I think it's like I'm only allowed to keep them for like temporarily. Gotcha. So I never really do that, so I should look into it. But I do want to get my hours still, just in case. Yeah. Why not? Like 1,000 hours, and then FWC's got to come out and check your housing and all that stuff. Yeah. And then I think if they're over 4 feet, you have to have like 2.5 acres and a pond and enough room for them. Fencing requirements, and you have to have so much land to bask on and stuff like that. Right. Yeah. So, I mean, I've seen them
in other states, like in pet stores, or like not alligators, I guess, but like caimans.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You know, so there are definitely states where you're allowed to.
Yeah, there are some states. I think maybe I want to say maybe Georgia. Like you can just go and buy one.
Yeah, that's crazy, and then just keep them in your bathtub.
Like even so, my dad would tell me growing up, you know, they'd put little ads in comic books and stuff like 25 cents, we'll ship you an alligator.
Oh, that's crazy.
Some little baby alligators, and you know that's how they ended up in like sewer systems up north and stuff like that because people get them. They stay warm down in those sewer systems even during the winter. So
yeah, I'm sure there's plenty of food for them in there too. They'll eat about anything, right?
Homeless people.
Yeah, whatever.
Yeah.
So interesting. So what's the biggest, like that place in St. Augustine, what's the biggest alligator they have? Like, do they have one there that's like 14 feet long?
You know, I'm honestly not sure. I'm sure they do, but their big one is a saltwater crocodile.
Right.
They have Gomek up there, and he was massive. And now they have, I can't think of his name. I can't remember. I want to say he's like 16 or 17 feet, though.
Gotcha. That's humongous.
Yeah,
those things get a lot bigger than that, though, right? Like what are they, like the Nile crocodile or the...
Yeah, I think the Nile can get up to, I don't know. Well, I was at Animal Kingdom yesterday, and it
almost 30 feet long or something, right?
Or something, but I feel like they can get bigger than that.
Yeah, like I've seen videos of crocodiles from like Southeast Asia, like Indonesia and stuff like that. They get huge there. Papua New Guinea, I mean, they'll get a 20-foot or longer crocodile that like eats people. you know?
Yeah,
that's insane.
I saw that one guy. Had to be one of those like Asian countries somewhere, maybe Thailand even, where that guy was. He like kind of rescued one at like 9 foot, but he would like swim with it and put it up on his back, and the thing was massive. And then I think the thing actually ended up dying a couple of years ago.
Oh, crazy!
It was
his pet, right? He just hung out like it was a dog.
Yeah, the thing like loved him.
Yeah, it's crazy how, like, even at that St. Augustine place, and obviously they're wild animals, and you definitely don't want to turn your back on them or give them the opportunity to bite you, but they do become somewhat domesticated. Like, when you feed them like that and they see the same people, I feel like they recognize those people.
Right. Yeah, I think so too, man. Like in Gator Chris Gillette, he was one of the Gator boys back in the day.
Yeah.
He's got a new sanctuary up in like Putnam County. That's like new, and he's got a couple of nuisance gators that he's rescued, and he's like, within a month, he's like in the water with this 10-foot gator, and you know, like hand feeding it, and it's crazy how fast and like how I don't know how Maximo, that's his name.
15 feet 3 inches. That's insane.
Yeah, like it's crazy how fast like he builds this relationship with these alligators. And I know like they're really instinctual, and a lot of it's learning their movements and you know, like what just their body language and posture and stuff. But still, I mean, that's where an alligator's fast is in the water, and he's swimming with them.
Yeah, he's a lot faster than you are for sure. Those things can. I've seen like at least smaller ones go after like a fish before that I'm reeling in, and those things can almost walk across the top of the water. It's pretty crazy how fast they go.
Under the water, like I've seen videos of like big crocodiles under the water where they're just like pushing like a submarine weight.
Yeah.
Crazy.
There's some big ones down there along the Everglades, like along Alligator Alley. I've been down there fishing quite a few times, and seen some really big ones down there. And what's the park down there, like Corkscrew or something like that? Or Big Cypress National Park. So I've been in there.
Like Loop Road. We just drove around Loop Road.
Loop Road, right. So have you ever been python hunting?
I have not. That's definitely on the bucket list.
Well, we got to do that next year, like during their roundup.
I'm game. Let's go.
I really want to do that. I got Captain Linster. I don't know if you know him. He really wants to go too.
Let's do it. 100%. I'm in.
Okay. Yeah, that'd be awesome. That'd be a lot of fun.
A nice little python band.
Heck yeah.
And that'd be pretty sweet. I put a couple of gator teeth in there.
Heck yeah. So what kind of dog do you have there? You said you're.
Yeah, he's a yellow lab.
Oh, cool.
Come here. He's a giant pain in the ass. He's smart, but he's like he's too smart. You know?
Oh, he looks like Casper.
Yeah. Like when he was a little puppy and we were potty training him, we would do it with Cheerios and give him a little Cheerio every time he would pee.
Yeah.
So he figured it out. He's like, all right, every time I pee, I'm getting a Cheerio. So he would just go do like little tiny tinkles. So basically, do like one full long pee, he would do 100 tinkles and get 100 treats.
What's his name?
Enzo.
Enzo. Okay, yeah. Cool. Yeah. He really looks just like Casper.
Is that you have a yellow lab too?
Yeah. Yeah, he's just over a year old, but he's smart. Oh, you know, super smart dog.
Yeah, they're super smart dogs. They're awesome. He loves me. He's a giant pain in the ass, but I do love him.
That's same with Casper. He's really Lincoln. Lincoln's my youngest son. He's really his dog. Right. Like he sleeps in bed with him. Like they are just inseparable. But I think he loves me too.
King size bed, and I get about that much of it.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Absolutely. That's about it. Well, I woke up this morning and he was in my bed. So I woke up and I'm like, why is Heather all the way over on my side, but Casper had her side taken over? So nice. At some point in the middle of the night, he came in there and climbed in bed with us.
Right. Yeah.
He's a cool dog, though. He's very food driven as well.
Yeah. You ever take him out on the boats with you?
I do. You know, he does not like the big boats. I think they're too loud for him. It freaks him out. Yeah. We have just a pontoon boat, and he loves it because he knows he's going to get to go swim and, play around on the islands over here. We got a bunch of islands around here. Oh, yeah.
But, the boat itself, I think, makes him a little nervous. But then when he knows what's happening, he gets so excited that he's, tired by the time we even get there.
Oh, that's hilarious.
He'll be playing until he's, passing out.
That's funny.
He'll just keep going.
Casper does not like boats that much. And he's not a big fan of swimming. He likes going on the islands and sniffing around on everything, but swimming is not his thing, which is weird for a lab, I feel like. But
yeah, you can't keep this one out of the water.
He does not want to get in the water. I gotta
The first thing we did when we moved here is put a fence up just to keep him out.
That's smart.
It'd be impossible.
Yeah, you don't want him swimming around back there.
An 18-year-old boxer. Wow, that's crazy.
I also have a 13-year-old. She's almost 14, actually, plot hound. And she loves the water. She'll go in. She's old now. She kind of has a little bit of arthritis and stuff, but she's always loved the water. She'd jump out of the boat. She'll, do anything, but Casper, not so much. Maybe he'll grow into it here eventually. Yeah,
he's tapping on the sliding glass door for me to let him back out. He's on the door all day long.
Of course he is.
We, when he was a puppy too, we got a little bell. It was my wife's idea, so he could ring the bell.
Oh yeah, that's awesome.
We were living in an apartment, so he would look out the window. And anytime he'd see one of his little dog friends going out, he would go ring the bell for us.
Oh, that's hilarious.
We'd think he had to go pee, and he just wanted to go play. Yeah,
they are super smart dogs.
Yeah.
So
jumping on the bed.
So back to that. So do you have kids? Just you and your wife?
I do. We have a little son. He's almost 2.
Oh, cool.
His name's Jackson. He's a little handful, but he's a blast. He's a blast. I have 2 older kids from previous marriage that my ex-wife did a number on. So.
Gotcha. Yeah. Been there, done that.
Yeah.
There's a lot of us out there, brother. You're not alone.
I didn't realize it until I went through it, man, and started talking to people about it. Parental alienation, it's a huge thing. And
I went through the same thing.
It needs to be dealt with differently in the court system because while they're filing motion after motion after motion, it's just months and months and months of them
not letting you see your kid.
Right.
I went through the same crap.
Work. Yeah.
There's so many of us. I mean, there are millions of us.
Yeah, I never realized it.
Our rights are really just kind of second to.
Yeah. Yeah, it's sad. And like really they're killing the kids. They're hurting the kids, man.
Oh
Like,
yeah.
it's the family court system is a complete, total joke.
Yep.
Um,
Agreed.
yeah, I mean, it's pretty terrible. Like, I don't know how somebody could be a family attorney or a family lawyer or judge and sleep at night.
I agree. It's terrible.
Yeah, it's crazy.
You know, the problem is I think that there are those people out there in the world, though, that maybe shouldn't be around their kids.
Mm-hmm. Oh, 100%.
So there's, you know, so maybe it's just hard or almost impossible to figure out who those people are.
Right. Yeah. I know you like when accusations are made, the legal system has to take them seriously because you never know.
But that makes it to where you just say anything and they have to investigate, you know?
The first accusation my ex made was I was addicted to energy drinks. It's like,
what?
Yeah, like, what are we doing here? What are we doing here?
I mean, I drink coffee every morning. It's the same thing.
Yeah, I drink my Death Wish coffee and I drink a C4 throughout the day, you know, like whatever.
That's crazy. So what'd the judge say about that? I mean, I feel like if I were a judge, I would just be like, well, you're just trying to make some shit up here.
But, right. End of the day, like the judge had to see everything and send me through whatever evaluations they had to send me through.
Yeah.
And then, honestly, when it was all said and done with, he ruled everything fair, but everything in like my side fair because he quickly realized that everything she was doing was a bunch of bullshit.
Yeah, well, she was just using your child as a weapon against you. And my ex-wife did the same thing. She weaponized my son, basically.
Yeah.
That's the only way they can get you at that point. You're gone. Right. That's the only way that they can punish you for whatever they think you did to them.
Exactly. And in the meantime, like, she's just hurting the kids, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, it's terrible.
And the problem is, though, like, once that accusation is made, and I get it, like I said, it's got to be seen through, and they have to make sure everything's legit or not legit. You know, they have to. It takes months for that to happen, though. You know, by the time you schedule appointments and court dates and hearings, and then by the time that's done, there are attorneys filing another motion for something ridiculous. You know, like
absolutely.
Yeah, that was crazy.
Yeah, I went through that for 10 years probably.
Yeah, it was never.
My son's in his 20s now from my previous marriage, but man, I went through it when I was in my I guess late 20s and pretty much throughout my 30s. And it really is all about money.
Yeah, 100%. 100%.
The state is getting a cut of your child support.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So it's in their best interest to give the mom the kid, make the dad pay child support, because normally the dad is the one that is making the most money.
Right.
And then they get a portion of that. They get a percentage of it. So it's really, you know.
Yeah, and every time you file motions, that attorney's just racking up them bills. You know?
Oh yeah, every hour. I mean, I don't know what the going rate for an attorney is now, but that long ago it was $200 or $250 an hour or something.
Yeah, one attorney was $350, the other one was $500 an hour.
Yeah, insane. You had better attorneys than I did.
Well, at one point, like I said, the judge ruled everything fair, and so she didn't like it, so appealed it, and that was a $500 attorney. It got to the point where I told the attorney, I was like, I'm better off just paying her what she wants.
Yeah.
Than paying the attorney fees. By the time I pay the attorney fees, I could pay her what she wants, and at least that would be like making payments. So I could pay her over a couple of years. I got to pay you as you're doing everything.
Heck yeah. So how long before Jackson's gator hunting with you?
Oh, he's been out there a couple times already. He likes.
Do you use him for bait or what?
He might, but man, he's an animal lover. Like if he sees a dog and he can't pet it, he loses his mind. And same thing with alligators. When he sees the gators, like I was posting a bunch on TikTok and live streaming and stuff, and then they kept telling me they were like I was violating community guidelines because I was promoting dangerous acts or something on YouTube. And then
you have to tell them you're a professional.
What's that?
You just have to say you're a professional alligator trapper.
Yeah, I tried putting that in a couple of videos.
They wouldn't do it, huh?
Yeah. But
like,
like I got the gator all taped up and stuff, and I'm going for the stuff to grab a tape measure, and my wife was there with me. I turn around and there's Jackson like petting the gator's back.
Oh, shit.
And he's like, hey. I'm like, no, buddy. Even though he's taped up, that head is still as hard as diamond.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, he's funny. He's funny. He's a trip. We went to Animal Kingdom yesterday. He's like in love with animals.
Yeah, I've never been to Animal Kingdom. That's the Disney park, right?
Yeah, it's cool.
How was that? It's like just a giant zoo, basically, right?
Pretty much, yeah. And you know, like a lot of people hate Disney. To me, it brings back a lot of good childhood memories.
Sure.
And we have annual passes with Jackson, so I love going there just to see how happy he is. But anyway, Disney actually that's an awesome zoo there at Epcot. They have, I think it's like the 3rd or 4th largest aquarium in the world or something.
Oh, crazy.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
I haven't been to Disney in a while. Oh, wait, when did we go? What's the new thing at Disney? It's like, it's not Harry Potter Land, right? It's something else.
Is it either Star Wars or maybe
Star Wars, that's it. We went when the Star Wars thing opened. Like my wife and oldest son, Elliot, they're like big or actually my youngest son, Lincoln, it was when like Mandolin was out and all that stuff.
Right.
Or Mandalorian.
I think so. I
Mando.
never got too big into the
So they were all about going to Star Wars land.
Right.
I'm not a huge, I've watched all the Star Wars movies and the shows and all that stuff, but I'm not a huge fan. But
I tried to.
We went for that. I haven't been though. I mean, the last time before that I went, I think I was 12 years old.
Oh wow.
Normally, if we go somewhere like that, like we did go to Harry Potter Land over at Universal, and we'll normally go to Busch Gardens. It's like closer to the house. Busch Gardens has an awesome zoo. I don't know if you've been there before, but their zoo is beautiful.
But it was a blast. I remember it being a blast.
It's a lot of fun. I mean, they have roller coasters and stuff, but if you like the animals and you like zoos and stuff like that, that's like my jam. I love that stuff, right?
Oh, yeah, me too.
They have the best zoo in this area. Like there's an actual zoo here, Lowry Park Zoo. It pales in comparison to Busch Gardens Zoo.
Right.
And they have giant alligators there. They have like a saltwater crocodile and hippos. They have this cool like hippo tank, right? And they have all these like cichlid fish in there. I mean, there are thousands of them.
Oh wow, that's awesome.
So it's like a whole African river system kind of a deal they have going on. It's pretty awesome.
Yeah, we went to the aquarium over there last year. I think that's a pretty good aquarium over in Tampa.
It is. Yeah, the Tampa Aquarium is definitely one of the best aquariums in the country, I think.
Yeah, I thought it was great. We had fun. We had a lot of fun there.
Yeah, it's a good time. I've been over there several times. And that whole little area there in downtown Tampa where the aquarium's at, and what do they call it now? It used to be Channel Side. It's something else now. They change the name of it every couple of years depending on who buys it out. But
over there or whatever.
Yeah, that's it. And there's a lot of cool places to eat there, and there's like an outdoor area where the kids can play and all that sort of deal. It's right on the waterfront. It is a pretty cool area to go check out if you're in Tampa and looking for something to do. That's
we went there a couple of years ago to have a couple drinks.
Yeah, it's an interesting area.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Oh yeah. So So you live near Palatka? Is that what you were saying?
Well, so I'm like in New Smyrna. I'm just south of Daytona.
Oh yeah, you're pretty far south from there then.
Yeah, Palatka is a little more inland.
Right.
So I work up in St. Johns County, St. Augustine.
Gotcha.
Grew up just south of there, like Palm Coast, and I've just been with that fire department for so long. It doesn't make any sense for me to start over anywhere.
Right. Well, you got the fireman mustache going.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It's actually like a little out of control right now. It's tickling my nose and it's on my lip. It's driving me crazy.
So how long have you been a fireman?
Just over 17 years.
Oh wow! So how long do most firemen stay firemen? Like, do you retire at some point? Do they?
Yeah, for us, I'm on the state retirement system, so it's 25 years we can retire, 25 or 55 years old.
Gotcha.
And then we can drop, which is like you technically retire, but you continue to work.
Okay.
Take that retirement check and put it in an account, and it just goes on interest, and you can do that for like 8 years.
Cool.
Thank you, Christopher. Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely.
You do that for like 8 years, and then by the time you're done, you get a pretty decent check, depending on, you know, it goes off of your highest 5-year average, and that's like a July to June. So, you know, if
that's
you
kind of cool.
Average for 5 years up, you know, work a bunch of overtime and keep up a little bit, you know, you can end up with a pretty decent retirement. So
Cool. Heck yeah. I mean, you deserve it as a fireman. You guys got to deal with so much.
Thank you. Yeah, it's fun. It's fun, man. Like it does suck sometimes, but I still, like, before this, I was a welder and a fabricator. So anytime I think I'm having a bad day there, I just think about being a welder, and I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
A bad day at the fire station is better than my worst day. My worst day at the fire station is better than my best day as a welder. Right.
I used to do construction work, and same thing. I'm like, when I think that I don't want to fish anymore, and then I look back at that, and I'm like, all I did when I was doing construction work was just want to go fishing every day. So
right. I thought about like trying to do a little charter over here until a buddy of mine's a charter captain. He said, you know, man, I love fishing and stuff. He said, but the problem is you're not fishing. You're watching everybody else fish.
That's the problem.
I'm not bashing welders. My dad, he's still a welder. It was an awesome trait to have, and I love knowing it, but hey,
that's not what you want to do for a living, right?
Yeah, not what I wanted to do. I mean,
So I've been fishing over there on the St. John system a few times, but normally up there around Palatka, and I don't know if you know where what is it? Georgia Boys Fish Camp. Have you ever heard of that?
I don't know. I don't think
it's a cool little place. It's on Dunn Creek.
Oh yeah. Oh okay. Yeah, I know where Dunn's Creek is.
Yeah, Dunn's Creek, and it's right off of the St. John's. It's like
it connects to St. John's to Crescent Lake.
Crescent Lake, that's right. Yeah. And there's really good crappie fishing in there.
Yeah.
In Crescent Lake. I don't know if you ever fished there or not, but
oh yeah. The bass fishing too is really good over there.
I've caught bass crappie fishing there, like nice ones.
Yeah.
But I've been fishing there a couple times. It's a beautiful area. I actually took Heather and the boys there last year.
Right.
And then I went there with the guys one time, and we pretty much just didn't fish as much as we planned on. That turned into a shit show.
Right. Right.
I got to take different people that want to fish with me next time.
Yeah. Well, hey, hit me up. I'm always ready to go fishing.
Heck yeah, I'd love to. I'd like to come over and do some and ride along with you sometime when you do your alligator trapping.
Yeah,
that'd be awesome.
Whenever you're ready.
I think
so. I keep telling. This has been kind of a weird year for me. Like, I've caught a decent amount of gators, but I haven't had any days where I could like go out and know I'm going to catch an alligator.
Right.
So like, I'd hate for you to drive 3 hours.
I don't care
until I have a few permits. You know, like
yeah.
Once I have a couple good permits, I'm like, all right, I know we're going to go catch at least something.
Sure.
And yeah, definitely. Definitely. And hell, I want to come over and do some fishing.
Yeah. We'll have to trade. We'll trade. I'll take you fishing. You take me gator hunting. That'd be perfect. Then I don't have to apply for tags.
Yeah, and we catch them live. And then if we catch one that's like a good enough size, say 4 or 5 footer, we can smoke the thing.
Yeah, hell yeah.
That's awesome. That's
well, so are you allowed to sell the gators after you catch them? Is that what you do?
Yep. Yeah, I can. So they just recently started letting us sell. We were always able to sell live gators,
right?
But now we can sell dead gators. We can't process them unless we're a processing facility.
Or you can process them for yourself, I suppose, right?
I can, yeah. I can process them for myself. And I could even sell somebody the gator, then charge them to help them process it.
Oh, gotcha.
I can't sell a processed gator per se.
Gotcha.
Because I'm not.
Well, that's part of the fun is actually doing all that stuff yourself. At least for me.
It is like, and it's a little bit of an experience, you know, like skinning a gator. It's totally different. It's not like skinning even a fish or anything like that. It's different. And then the ones I sell the whole gator and it's tagged. It comes with paperwork. It's logged with the state. So it's 100% legal. And then some of the people like send the heads off to get the heads taxidermied, or you can send the hide off to get the hide tanned. And
I actually have 2 heads in my freezer right now.
Oh, do you?
And I haven't done anything with them. I've had them for a couple years. They've just been frozen. And eventually I'm going to try to
you should Euro mount them.
That's what I'm gonna do. Yeah,
I did one. I'll go grab it.
I
did one a couple months ago, like a 10-footer. Let me go grab it. I'll be right back.
Okay. Yeah, I have 2 gator heads. I have a wahoo head, maybe a barracuda head. I don't know. Maybe I got rid of the barracuda head, but I have all these heads in my freezer. So like, you know, if anybody that doesn't know me goes in my freezer and sees a bunch of animal heads in there, that's kind of weird, but that's what I got going on. I guess I'm a head collector. That's odd. You know, the barracuda heads are really cool to mount, like the Euro. No human heads. No. The barracuda heads are really cool to mount. They look awesome if you Euro mount them. You have a huge coyote in your freezer. A beaver head. I'll be ding dong. I know it is. I know. Oh, look at this thing. This is awesome.
All right. So this is, I did this head a couple months ago.
Cool.
This is a 10-footer. Here's the nuisance gator.
So do you have to glue that back together? Like, do the teeth and everything fall out?
Yeah. So it is kind of a pain in the butt. I got really lucky with this one. I've done some smaller ones where like the nose will fall off, kind of fall in quarter pieces, and the jaw will split in half here, the bottom jaw.
Yeah. Yep.
And then a lot of the teeth come out, and you end up having to glue the teeth back in. But this one I got really lucky with.
Look at the teeth on that thing.
Glue a lot of teeth in, but a lot of them stayed. But it's honestly it's kind of better when they come out, as long as you know where they're at, so you can get whatever meat and flesh is in there.
Oh yeah. So when you clean those, when you get the meat off of them, how do you do that?
So I boiled it in like dish soap, peroxide. I think that was it. Maybe a little bit of degreaser, and then pressure washed it. And the pressure washing is a pain in the butt because that's when they start breaking. And also alligators. I don't know if you can see all those little holes. Yep. Those are all like little nerve endings.
Yeah, they're sensors, right? So they can feel vibrations in the water.
Yeah, exactly. And but those you have to get everything out of there, so it doesn't stink. Like the little tiny brain sits in there.
Yeah.
Like there's just a lot of little crevices to clean out and stuff. That's why, like this one, I don't know how in the world they get all the meat out of these. So like this one, this is that 12.5 footer. Like everything is real on this thing, minus his eyes and his tongue. So somehow they got to get all that meat out from in here, which is I don't even know how to do that.
So do they skin it first and then put the skin back on?
Because the skin that's on the head, it's almost like held together with almost like a gel glue. It seems like when you boil it and start pressure washing it, like you'll see like it's like the skin and then a little gel and then the bone. Like there's not much.
Interesting.
Yeah, it's pretty wild, and like that hole here on the bottom jaw, this hole right here is full of meat and
that's like their jaw muscle, right?
Yeah, like the jaw muscle.
They get that?
Down here is like also where the jaw muscle is. So it's a process. It's a tedious, long process. Like the muscle cavity is huge, but you know it's worth it. I think it's a cool little trophy.
Yeah, that's awesome. I do quite a few like fish heads. I haven't done any in years, but I used to do them all the time, and I would do like barracuda heads. The barracuda heads really turn out nice.
Really? I've seen some pictures of wahoo heads. That looks
I have a wahoo head in my freezer right now. I have like, it's been there for a couple of years. Eventually, I plan on trying to do like a mount with it. I just have never gotten around to it. It's probably buried under a bunch of bait right now.
Right. Yeah.
But that's pretty cool. I've been messing around with stuff like that for, most of my life. I've always hunted and fished and done all that sort of stuff. So that kind of goes hand in hand with it, just trying to learn more parts of the whole process,
Oh yeah. I'm always learning. There's always somebody out there better than me at it,
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Like fishing, I can watch fishing and gator hunting videos all day long and still learn something. And same thing. I've been fishing since I'm like, I don't know, 3 years old.
Oh, yeah.
My dad said it was the first time he took me out, and
since I was old enough to hold a fishing rod by myself.
Yeah, and it always gets me in trouble, but I'm always one more cast.
Oh yeah,
one more cast always turns into 2 more hours, and then.
Well, fishing's gotten me in trouble a few times, but I feel like it's kept me out of a lot of trouble too.
Yeah, absolutely.
There's a lot worse things you could do than be out fishing.
Absolutely, right.
It definitely has kept me well grounded. When I was in high school, all my buddies would be out partying or doing whatever. I was fishing.
Yeah, I grew up on a freshwater lake, and like I would wake up before school and sometimes go fishing for an hour, half hour or so.
Yeah, I'd wake up for school and go fishing for half an hour, and then maybe decide I wasn't going to go to school and fish for the rest of the day.
Yeah. I've done that a couple times.
Go home sunburnt.
Yep. Yeah.
Yeah, come home and mom's like, "Why do you smell like you're all sweaty and fishy?"
It's a funny thing. We were fishing during homeschool today.
Oh yeah. So I went to this. When I went to Largo High School, I went to school right here in Pinellas County, like high school, Largo. And when I went to Largo, there was like a carpentry program there. There was a vocational school that they bused you to. So I would get bused from Largo High School over to Seminole Voed, which is now like a high school in itself. They don't do that anymore. But so I had carpentry class there. And there was a pond in the back of this campus, and it was all fenced in. And there were some bass in there, right? And I was like, if I found a lake or a pond or something I thought they were fishing, I was going to figure out a way to fish there. So I went, one day a buddy of mine and I took our fishing rods to school. And rather than going to class, they got us off the bus there, and we just walked to the back of the property and went fishing the whole class period. And that was pretty much the only time I ever really got in trouble for skipping school. Like, they caught us back there. Some guy pulled up on a cart, like one of the administrators, and I had to sit in the principal's office for the rest of the time I was there. And then we were in trouble. We had detention for a couple days and stuff, but it was a pain in the ass. But I got him back. You know how I got him back? I took the ball out of his mouth and took it home with me.
Awesome. That's awesome. That's awesome.
And I can't believe I remember that from 25 years ago, but I got him good.
I caught an alligator this probably last year, I guess. It took me like at least 2 years to catch him, but he was out of high school, and
wow.
The reason I wanted him caught was because they were going to start a little freshwater fishing program.
Oh, cool.
Which was cool. But he was pretty big, like over 8-footer, but he would be in the storm drain system, and like the courtyard had a few storm grates.
Yeah.
And the kids would throw chicken nuggets and pizza crust down there and
feed him. That'll keep him around.
Kids would like pick up the grate and mess with the gator and stuff, but they would never let me catch him while the kids were there. But that's when the gator was there, because he'd learn the bells, and he was like, "Oh yeah, hear that bell? It's time. That's a dinner bell."
Dinner bell, baby.
Finally, I was able to catch him on like a teacher work day. They called me. The bells were going off, and they're like, "All right, he's here. He's here." I was like, "All right."
Cool.
Yeah,
that's pretty awesome.
Yep.
Heck yeah. Well, I tell you what, AJ, I'm gonna go work on my boat here.
Okay.
I totally I was at home at about 20 after 9, and I totally forgot we were supposed to have this podcast this morning.
Right.
And I'm like scrambling around like, oh no. Actually, Andrew, I was in Daytown's live stream, and Andrew was like, don't you have a podcast at 10 o'clock? And I'm like, oh my goodness, Andrew, thank God you're here, because you know my schedule way better than I do.
Awesome. Well, yeah,
AJ, it was very great to talk with you, and I definitely want to keep in touch. And I'd love to come out gator hunting with you, and maybe python hunting next summer.
Hey, I'm ready. I'm definitely ready to go catch some pythons.
That'd be awesome. We'll have to figure out how to live stream that. But it's been a pleasure. Be safe out there, gator hunting.
Yeah, you too. Good luck fishing.
Thank you for being a firefighter for how long did you say? 17 years?
17 and 20 total.
Thank you for your service, and
thank you. Thank you.
Yeah. So it's been a pleasure, AJ.
Yeah, absolutely, guys. Thanks. Have a good one.
Yeah, have a great day, brother.
You too, buddy.